Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing with lots of stamps and stencils and combining them together to create an art journal page. So I'm going into my new Dilutions journal. I wanted to see how the gloss sprays went on the Dilutions journal paper, because I tend to use them in my Dina Wakley journal where it can sort of soak into the page. But they worked really well. They've got that beautiful gloss shine. Took a little bit of heat with the heat gun to get them to dry, but that's okay. So I'm using cheddar and eggplant, and you know, me getting my finger in there too. So I'm doing a little bit of a resist in the background. So put on the yellow, let that dry, then put on the eggplant. You saw me sort of sponge some off. So wherever the yellow had already soaked into the page, it would resist the purple. So I could actually take that off and it sort of filled in the extra gaps. The third color I added onto the page was some marine, just to add a little bit of contrast on the page too. So it looks like a dog's breakfast, but that's okay. It was something different. I was playing around and experimenting, and that's how I tend to start all my art journal pages. You know, I don't necessarily love the first few things I do, and what I enjoy is the problem solving process as I keep going through it. And I think I actually love pages that present me with more of a challenge, because I have to think more about it and I have to play with it for longer. So I actually enjoy those sorts of pages. So I started off by using this star stencil and some penny, which is a copper color. Then I'm going in and adding some white space, because you know, it's me, I got rid of it all, and I'm just adding this dot stencil throughout it, just to sort of add an extra bit of white and a bit of a focus onto the page. You'll notice I'm also grounding it to the edges, or attaching it to the edges, so that I don't have the dots floating everywhere. Because I had some paint left on my page, I'm going in and adding it to some other pages I've done. You'll notice there's a lot of magazine collage in this journal, because I did it for my collage fundamentals class that I taught, and the link to is in the description box below. So there's lots and lots of magazine collages in this journal, and I've got lots of leftover pages. So I decided I want to put an image on this page, or a face on this page, so I'm using this Dina Wakley stamp, stamping onto some collage tissue, and then I'm going to glue that into the center of the page using gel medium. So just popping it on the page, and you notice as soon as I put it on, it disappears into the page. Now I could have stamped straight onto this in my journal. Sorry for moving the camera, I didn't actually realize I did that. But I've just got used to, I suppose, stamping onto collage tissue. It gives me just that little bit of extra confidence, I suppose, because if I really don't like the image being there, I can sort of audition it beforehand, and if I've stamped it out in collage tissue, I haven't really wasted it, because I can still use it on another page if I choose not to use it. So I'm just going in with my fine Posca paint pen and drawing over the top of the image. So this helps pop the image out from the background, which is kind of really important. Even though it's on the collage tissue and you can still see it, you can see the definition it gets by drawing it out using the paint pen. And you've got that guide there to help you out. The other thing that I do with my images, if I've put the face in the middle of the page, I always again connect it to the bottom, so that image isn't floating, that it's covered up. Now I just draw a simple line down to the bottom of the page, so it's no great you know, masterpiece of artwork to do, but it just helps it make sense on the page. As I love to do, I've got one of my favourite stencils out. So this is the branches and leaves stencil from Dina Wakley. Unfortunately, it's now been discontinued, so if you see it in the shops and you want one, buy it. You may find it's been discontinued because Rangers sold out of their last ones and they're not restocking it, but you may still find it in some retailer shops on the shelf. So don't panic just yet, there might still be some floating around. I first stenciled on some black, or it's actually Payne's grey, but I've thought on this page, and it's a shame you can't see the bottom of the page, it was a bit too dark, it was a bit too overpowering. So I then did my trick of then stenciling back in some white again. So I'm going in with a paint pen or a permanent marker, sorry, and being really, really scribbly and drawing over the top of that white just to help tie it together. And then I decided, because I really love doing that I would go around with white around the black. Now I really should have done that before I stenciled the white over the top, just to make it easier on myself, but why would I do anything the easy way? So again, I'm not being very particular about how I'm doing it. It is really loose and scratchy, but it adds to it. One of the things I always do with my figures is add in the whites of the eyes, and you can see immediately how they pop out from the background. So it's something I find really important to do to all my figures. It just makes them the absolute focal image of your page. Around the outside of my image, I had a little bit of black paint, or the Payne's grey, on my paintbrush, and I really watered it out so I could have a bit of a shadow around that face. So again, it sort of pops it out from the background. And then I'm just going in with a red Stabilo oil pencil and adding in some colour to the cheeks and to the lips. It was a little bit too intense, so I'm just going back in once I've put some water on it and sponging a little bit off, so it's more stained the paper than actually having a solid block of colour there. When I finished that, I was wondering what I was going to do with the hair, and I came across this stencil. I've had this stencil, again, it's a Dina Wakley stencil, I think it's called Waves, in my kit for so long, and I've never really used it because I'm not really a wavy type person. And I suddenly had this bright idea, I could use this hair, and I don't know why I've never done it before, because oh my goodness, it makes brilliant hair. So if you have got this in your stash or something similar with waves in it, it is a great way to add hair to your stamped images. So without very much fuss, I've got semi-realistic hair happening without too much of an issue, which I've really, really loved. And again, it just sort of frames that face and makes it come alive. I've also got this stencil, which is again another, obviously on a Dina Wakley kick today when I was doing this, which is one of the ones releases from January, and it says your soul shines through, I think, which I really liked. But I stenciled it out with the black because I had it there, and it really blended into the background. So I actually broke out some yellow, which again is not a colour I use very often, but I'm really glad I did on this page because it really helped to pop everything out. And because I liked it so much, I actually decided to outline the hair too, just sort of squiggly lines, just to tie it all together somewhat on my finished page. So this is a close-up of how it all came together. Your soul shines truth, sorry, not your soul shines through. But it was a really fun page to do with all those different layers and so on it. So have a go with combining your stamps and stencils together. Have a look at your stencils in a new way and think, what could I use that for? You know, can I use it for hair, or can I use it for texture in a body, and so on. And it just helps expand your tool range. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.